Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Apologies, I'm a few minutes late. Just had a bit of a car crash setting everything up. It wasn't a PC crash, but we are here now. We are here now. It wasn't a crash. Good to see so many of you in the chat already, patiently waiting for me. I do appreciate it. Rams, Black Gunner, Alex, Mal, Ross, The Shadow Claw, Young Tar, Jake Madaford, Alex Johnson, Magnus, Joshua, Swigona, loads of you, Andreas, good to see you, Leeds Gunner as well, good to see lots of you, Ethan Udall, loads of the regulars are in, SS9 as well, Absolute Cack, Casey, and Stormy Smith, Will Pitts as well. Lots to get into today. It's crazy season. It's the end of the transfer window. We are now, quick maths, 3 days, 5 hours and 54 minutes away from deadline. That was some quick maths. It wasn't very quick. It was actually embarrassingly slow. But we are not far away at all from transfer deadline day, and it is crazy season. In what world did anyone predict that we'd be hearing SMITH-ROWE and MUDRYK swap deal? You know, no one saw that coming, and yet we have to talk about it. So, sorry, Rory, I couldn't make it to yesterday's stream. Managed to watch it this morning, though. Emilio, I massively appreciate it. Anyone who watches the streams back, it does massively help me out, so I do appreciate that. So, look, I'll go into the SMITH-ROWE thing. So, someone had mentioned that Chelsea may have inquired about a swap deal with MUDRYK and SMITH-ROWE. AFC Camden, who is not a journalist, not in the realms of Team News and Ticks or anyone like that, but has had a fair bit of information on his Twitter over the course of the summer and for quite a few years, tweeted, Chelsea inquired about a swap deal last week for Emil SMITH-ROWE and Mykhailo Mudryk. The answer was no from Arsenal at the time. So look, this isn't coming from a reputable journalist. It is kind of more hearsay than anything else, but there are other things that kind of make it sound like it was plausible. So Sami Mokbel, who is a very plausible journalist and has been very, very good on Arsenal news this summer, said sources claim that an offer way above market value may tempt Arsenal into selling Emil SMITH-ROWE before Friday's deadline. But as things stand, there appears to be minimal chance of a deal taking place. Sources have indicated that Chelsea have shown a willingness to include players as a sweetener in any deal with Arsenal. So there you go. Interesting. And it's that idea of throwing in players as a sweetener. And by the way, how crazy would that be if Mykhailo Mudryk, who they bought for 100 million or 90 million or whatever it was, just 7 months ago, was thrown in as a sweetener for Emil SMITH-ROWE. It would be laughable, but it would also make me violently sick. I do not want it. I do not want it. What have I missed? Phoebe, you've missed the incredible news or rumours that that Chelsea might want to swap Mykhailo Mudryk for Emil SMITH-ROWE. It would honestly make me quite ill. Lee is making a fool of himself on the terrace right now. That is unsurprising. So look, on SMITH-ROWE, I don't think he's going to leave. Ultimately, I don't think he's going to leave. If he does leave, going to Chelsea, it would kill me. It would kill me. I could just about tolerate it if it was Balogun, because he'd not quite had the same story with Arsenal. He'd not, SMITH-ROWE was like such a low point. SMITH-ROWE and Saka were the shining lights, and it would just be horrible to see him in a Chelsea shirt. It really would. Is Lee a drug addict? No, not that I know of. He was just born like that, I guess. Mad ESR is an Arsenal fan and his dad is a Spurs fan, if I'm not wrong, and then he plays for Chelsea. Yeah, I don't know about his dad, to be fair. I don't know, but I just don't want it. Random opinion, but wouldn't mind Madueke at Arsenal. Not bad backup to Saka. Yeah, I don't disagree, but I'd rather that happened without SMITH-ROWE going the other way. I really would. Rory, I'm a United fan. I can't wait to beat you at the Emirates. I'm confident. Good luck. I will be there. Ticket secured. I got my United ticket today. Absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. But yeah, and on Smith-Rowe, by the way, so the big thing that it keeps coming back to, and I was talking about this on the Football Terrace last night, was he's not played a minute of football yet this season. And that is true. But you can't have both worlds where every player in your squad is getting minutes as well as, like, it just doesn't work out that way. We're only in one competition at the moment, and I think people don't realise, once we're in the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup and the Champions League, and we're playing 2 games a week for most weeks of the season, at that point, you need more players, and Smith-Rowe will get game time. And if you don't have players on the bench that aren't getting many minutes, or if you do have players on the bench not getting any minutes and then you get rid of them, as soon as you get a little run of injuries, and that will happen, it happened last season, and last season it happened with the defenders. What happens if in back-to-back games, Ødegaard and Fabio Vieira both get injured? All of us, and Smith-Rowe's balling out at Chelsea. You're going, what on earth have we done? So I think it's good to keep our squad as stacked as possible. I am very much a fan of looking at our bench at the moment on a match day and going, every single person on that bench I would happily bring on as a sub. I think that's the position that you need to be in. I am more than happy for Smith-Rowe to stay. I appreciate it's frustrating for him, but I also, if he goes to Chelsea, right, where does he play for Chelsea? Presumably it would have to be as the 10. It would have to be sat behind Nicholas Jackson. As soon as Nkunku comes back, is Smith-Rowe better than Nkunku? Is Smith-Rowe going to start ahead of Nkunku? I don't think so, especially with the price that Chelsea paid for Nkunku. So I don't know that long term he'd get more game time at Chelsea anyway, and they're not in they're not in European competition, so they're not going to have the level of games that we have. Journalist, biggest hypocrites going. Arsenal have no depth, and then Arsenal don't play every player in 90 minutes. Well, this is the thing. And we've seen this a lot. You know, even when we've brought players in, it's like, well, who's he going to start instead of, and who are you going to drop? And it's like, well, it's called rotation, and it's called having quality depth, and that's what you need. So, yeah, I think long term, it's definitely better if we keep Smith-Rowe. Rory, I have just joined. What's happening? She's talking about Smith-Rowe and potentially moving to Chelsea. I don't see him going anywhere else. That's the thing. I don't see any other club coming in and bidding enough for Smith-Rowe for us to let him go, other than Chelsea. Is Partey going to Galatasaray? I don't think so, but there is a story. This story coming from Yakup Sinar, who's a Turkish journalist, which is why it holds a bit more credit because it's about a Turkish club and it's coming out of Turkey. He said there may be developments this week regarding Thomas Partey after the Galatasaray versus Molde match. The player is still very open to a move to Galatasaray. Bro, just for future reference, you don't need to spam a question that often. I will get to it. But yeah, Partey to Galatasaray, I don't see it happening. Galatasaray can't afford him, I don't think. And I don't really see what's in it for Thomas Partey, if I'm honest. I appreciate and I respect actually quite massively the fact that Partey wants to continue playing Champions League football. But therefore he may be more open to a move to Galatasaray than Saudi or elsewhere. Hello, Olusola Otuntan. I don't think I butchered your name then. Olusola is the very first member of the Rory Talks Football channel. Welcome. That is the very first member of the Rory Talks Football channel. Bro, you're on your way to becoming no longer a member of the Rory Talks Football channel. Bro, relax. I've literally just spoken about what you're talking. No, I didn't give mods to anyone. I got really busy. In fact, bro, that's it. Bro, that's it. You had it. You're in timeout. You're on the naughty step. That was ridiculous. But look, Olusola, what a hero. Thank you very much for becoming a member of the Rory Talks Football channel. That is elite. But look, regarding Partey, like I said, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't think they can afford him. And he's a key part of the team at the moment. He's started every game and played a lot of minutes in those games. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. ESR is as talented as Saka. By the way, missed the stream next day. No worries, Tom. No worries. Good to see you. What did Braw say? Well, he just said, is Partey going to Galatasaray about 400 times, which is, you know, there was nothing wrong with what he said. It was just the fact that I'd actually fully gone through the Partey story and he was still saying it. So he needs to relax a bit. By the way, there's stuff coming on TikTok as well. Absolute Solokai has sent a heart to me on TikTok. So massive appreciation to that. Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much. Are we not going to sign anyone else this window? It's looking unlikely. There's very little going on by way of rumours or anything in terms of Arsenal signing anyone. Maybe if we get players out the door quick enough in the next couple of days, we can make a wild deadline day signing. I'm not confident. I don't think we will. On to Gabriel, who continues to be a topic of conversation. What's on your bed? This, my friends, is the new Premier League match ball sent to me by Nike, which was very, very kind of them. But I haven't opened it yet. It was just there, and then I got busy. Steve, you're chatting out your ass. That's according to Emo. What did Steve say? Steve, Rory, I'm a Liverpool fan. Aren't you worried we take Saka off you? No. Steve, come on. Steve, we're better than this. In this community, we're better than this. We don't take the mick. We don't go into these sorts of ridiculous theories. Why would Saka go to Liverpool? What, genuinely? Born in London, through the Hale End, pretty much his entire life. Graduated, has become a star at Arsenal. They've given him every opportunity. He's got him into the England team. He's in the Champions League. What could Liverpool offer? And I mean that respectfully to Liverpool Football Club. But what could they offer? Yeah, this is 2023, Steve. This isn't 2019. You know, let's unbox the ball. I can't right now. I'm sorry. Just because I've got to like film it and stuff. Why is Arteta experimenting? Why not? You know, at some point you do have to experiment, and I think at the end of last season, a lot of us felt that we needed to be slightly less predictable, and he's doing a bit of experimentation now. And look, ultimately, if we'd beaten Fulham, and obviously that's a big if, and we didn't beat Fulham, and so it has caught us out a little bit, but if we'd beaten Fulham, he'd have had a good period of 3 games of experimentation without dropping points, which is very similar to what City did at the start of last season, except they dropped points as well. So it is difficult. But I would like to see us go back to default against United this weekend, if we can. If Zinchenko is fit enough to start, I'd like to see us go back. Ross Lawman says Amari, Nwaneri, Smith-Rowe. Don't Chelsea have their own academy? Oh yeah, I forgot. The thing is, Chelsea have got about 700 players. But none of them quite hit the level that the Hale End Academy does, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately, for old Chelsea. But on Gabriel, Ryan Taylor saying Gabriel Magalhães is set to remain at Arsenal despite interest from Al Ittihad. Fabrizio Romano, for Gabriel Magalhães, honestly, I was speaking to so many of my sources today and yesterday, and they all had the same feeling. They don't understand why Gabriel is not playing. This is just probably a tactical decision, but many people in the industry are simply not understanding why Gabriel is not playing. Because internally, from Arsenal, the message is very clear. The player is staying. He's a crucial player for the project, and they want him to continue there. At the moment, there is nothing going on with any club. So again, an incredibly firm statement from Fabrizio Romano, and we had this maybe a week, 10 days ago, that Arsenal are not and will not negotiate for Gabriel Magalhães. And it is just tactical. And you can question the tactics, but it's good. Will you do a live stream for the UCL draw? It depends when it is. When's the UCL draw? When is the UCL draw? Is it Thursday or Friday? If it's Thursday, probably not, because I'm at a shoot. But if it's Friday, possibly. UCL draw. Sure, why would it not just Can someone tell me when it is? 5 p.m. Thursday, 5 p.m. BST. Is it definitely 5 p.m. BST? The Shadow Claw said 5 p.m. BST. Is it... All due respect to Ryan Taylor, there's reason why he's journo and not top-level manager like Arteta. True. The 31st at 4 p.m. Is that 4 p.m. your time or 4 p.m. my time? So it is on Thursday. Would you give Pepe a second chance? No. It wouldn't be a second chance. And also, just no, basically. I just don't think he'll ever suit English time, 4 p.m. English time. Okay, maybe. I'm at a shoot on Thursday. If I'm back in time, we'll go live. If I'm back in time, we will go live. Rory, do you want Arsenal to have an easy group with Feyenoord as a pot team or a big game? So I was looking at this yesterday, right? So, and let me know in the chat who you want. Yeah, Steve, we've seen that chat, mate. Let me know who you want in the Champions League groups, because so basically what I've seen is a lot of people want Bayern Munich in the group because they want revenge, whatever. I want the easiest group we can get. I don't care about revenge. I don't care about big games. I want to make it as far in the Champions League as I can, and to do that, the most ideal thing is to get an easy group. So actually, interestingly, you said, do you want Feyenoord? I don't think Feyenoord are the easiest team in pot 1. I think Sevilla are the easiest team in pot 1. They're currently, I don't think they've even picked up a point in La Liga yet this season. I don't really know how they actually won Europa League last season. And it's insane that they're in pot 1, but obviously they are in pot 1 because of winning the Europa League. So for me, I think, I think I want Sevilla from pot 1. And then I think it was Shakhtar from pot 3. I decided was both easiest, and also it would be quite nice because of the whole MUDRYK thing to do them in. And then I can't even remember from pot 4. I think it was maybe Dinamo Zagreb were the worst club in pot 4. But yeah, give me the easiest group we can possibly get. I do not care about proving a point. I don't care about big games. The big games will come. This is the thing with the Champions League. The big games will come. Just get out of the group. Get out of the group in as low intensity games as you possibly can. And I'll be happy. Sevilla guaranteed third in the group. Yeah, Sevilla guaranteed to finish third in the group, drop down into the Europa League, and then win the Europa League again. I'll probably get relegated from La Liga at the same time. Feyenoord, Rangers, and Copenhagen. Fuck Bayern. We need the easiest group. I agree. I don't know if Rangers would be the easiest just because of the England-Scotland thing. I feel like they'd be so up for it that I don't know if Rangers would be the easiest from that pot. But there's no way we're letting Smith-Rowe go. Are we forgetting he's one of the most exciting stars? One injury and everyone forgets. I agree. Kieran, the latest on Smith-Rowe is, we did just go through it, but basically, according to Samuel Mokbel, this is the best source. Sources claim that an offer way above market value may tempt Arsenal into selling Smith-Rowe before Friday's deadline, but as things stand, there appears to be a minimal chance of that deal taking place. Sources have indicated that Chelsea have shown a willingness to include players as a sweetener in the deal. So that's the end of the Gabriel news, and I do expect Gabriel to stay, but you just never know. I'd be devastated if Gabriel left, and in my opinion, we'll know come 11 p.m. on Friday when the deadline passes whether or not he's still at the club. But for me, he should be starting on Sunday. It's as simple as that. He should be starting on Sunday against Manchester United, and it's kind of scary the way it could go. It could be on Sunday at the Emirates, we could see Gabriel walk out onto the pitch in the starting lineup, or we could see that he's gone to Saudi Arabia. And the big issue is we can't replace Gabriel on that late notice. I don't think we can get Guehi or anyone else at that late notice, so we'd be objectively worse off defensively heading into the season. On to Rob Holding. Now we're on to some of the departures that we actually want to happen, and that we need to happen, quite frankly. Rob Holding, Fabrizio Romano saying, understand Mallorca and Sevilla have both asked for conditions of a potential Rob Holding deal this week. There are also Premier League clubs informed on Holding's situation as he is still expected to leave. Nizar Kinsella, who is predominantly a Chelsea journalist, but I think he's kind of close to Luton and other London clubs, said Luton have launched a loan bid for Arsenal defender Rob Holding. We know, by the way, that for all of these players, Arsenal's ideal situation is sale, not loan. But Luton have launched a loan bid for Arsenal defender Rob Holding, and then Alex Crook from TalkSport backed that up. Understand Luton are among the clubs keen on signing Arsenal defender Rob Holding. Besiktas also involved, as well as teams in Spain. So Rob Holding could end up anywhere. He could end up in Turkey, Spain, Luton. I mean, if I was him, Mallorca or Luton, where would you rather live? Mallorca. Fabrizio Romano, this is about Nuno Tavares, and this is good. This is good on Nuno Tavares. Nottingham Forest reignited their interest in Nuno Tavares after a deal kind of fell through a couple of weeks ago, and he said Nottingham Forest are close to reaching an agreement for Nuno Tavares. Loan deal discussed with Arsenal after a new round of talks. It could be completed within the next 24 hours and will include an option to buy. Nuno has already said yes after the interest was revealed 2 weeks ago. So Nottingham Forest in for Nuno Tavares, but probably a loan with an option to buy. And again, this is where I feel like we're probably not going to sign anyone by the end of the window, because a lot of these deals are going to be loans. And you know, look, they can have options to buy, they can have obligations to buy, but you don't get that money until next season. So yeah, I'm not sure that we're going to sign anyone because of that. Ross Lawman, we getting told we have too much depth, but not being used. But when City pay 80 million for Paqueta or Nuno, for 60 when they have KDB and Alvarez, no one bats an eye. Exactly. And this was the crazy thing. I had last night on the Football Terrace, Don, the Chelsea fan, he's a nice guy, but you know, he was saying. He was using the Smith-Rowe hasn't played any minutes argument as a reason that he should go to Chelsea. It's like Chelsea have got 10 injuries. When those injured players come back, they had a normal starting 11 in their last game, as in, you know, senior players all in the starting 11. And they've got 10 injured players. Well, when all 10 of those come back, that's more than a full matchday squad of players. And if you add Smith-Rowe to that and you add whoever else they want to buy before the end of the window to that, all of a sudden they're back at the point where they've got like 30 players again. And they've got to pick players that don't make it into the matchday squad. So I think Arsenal are in a good place. I think if we offload all of the deadwood, we're basically in a position where I think one attacking player each week. If everyone is fit, one attacking player each week will miss out on the matchday squad, and that's fine. And the likelihood is you'll always have at least one player injured, and so that's fine. Ibrahim Ahmed says, Emil Smith-Rowe has no interest in joining Chelsea. The midfielder wants game time, and joining Chelsea would do nothing for his career. Smith-Rowe to Chelsea, Red Cross. I don't know if that's an Ibrahim Ahmed exclusive or if he's taken that from someone else, but I do agree. What about Cedric? Do you know what? Cedric is becoming a bane of my existence. There's very little. I will just double check, but there's very little on Cedric. There's just not. There's not. And look, we still haven't got Sambi Lokonga on loan yet, or out the door on loan. Who did you take it from, Ibrahim? Let me know who you took it from. Yeah, we still haven't got Sambi Lokonga out. We still haven't got Pepe out. We still haven't got Cedric out. El Nenny's not even been mentioned, so I assume he's going nowhere. But again, these are players that even like they're just not going to be in matchday squads unless we have an injury crisis. What would be your worst possible UCL group for Arsenal? Let me just bring up the pots because I can't remember the pots off by heart, but it's a good question. Let me bring up the pots. The pots. What are the pots? Here are the pots. So, from pot 1, the worst would be... Do you know what? Pot 1 genuinely just isn't that bad. Like, probably Barcelona or Bayern. Barca or Bayern. You can't play City. I don't think PSG are actually that great. We can't play Real Madrid. We're in the same pot as Real Madrid, so we can't play them. So I think it would be Barcelona or Bayern. From pot 3, I would say you probably want to avoid Leipzig and AC Milan. And then from pot 4, I think Sociedad's probably the team you want to avoid from pot 4. Other than that, I don't really see any problems. So yeah. And this is the thing, right? I genuinely, because of how stacked pot 2 is, and because there's no massive team in pot 3, I don't really look at any, I genuinely don't think there is any, even if we got the worst possible group, which would, for argument's sake, let's say it's Bayern, AC Milan, and Sociedad. I still think we get out of that group quite easily. So I took off Jimmy McCann. Fair play. I don't know who that is, to be honest. But look, yeah. So ultimately, I'm not too worried. Could Tierney play against us if we get Sociedad? Yeah. So that's a good question, actually, because it would apply to any player that we have out on loan. I don't think there are any other players in our squad that would make it into a Champions League squad. But yes, the rule that applies to the Premier League in terms of parent club and playing against your parent club, that's not a UEFA rule. It's not implemented. So as an example, last year, Cancelo could have played against City at Bayern. It's happened quite a few times before, actually. It's quite common. Quarterfinal for UCL, realistically possible for us? I think it should be. And actually, if you're realistic, right, the only reason that getting to the quarterfinal wouldn't be realistic is because of how stacked both pot 1 and pot 2 are. So you can easily end up in a situation where Real Madrid, Dortmund, Atletico, Barca, Bayern, PSG could end up coming second in their group. And so we could win the group, but then actually get a difficult tie in the round of 16. So 214 watching and 46 likes. Smash the like button. Yeah, please do. Look, there's loads of you in here. Please do smash the like button and also subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, please do that. I would be very grateful indeed. So look, that's all of the transfer news. And the big one is you've got 3 at the top, right? You've got SMITH-ROWE, Partey, Gabriel, who all could, in theory, still leave before the end of the week. And I don't think any of us would want to lose any of them. And then you've got, at the bottom, the likes of Holding, Tavares, Cedric, Pepe, Sambi Lokonga, that we really need to get out the door. Balogun is having his medical in Monaco today, I believe. So that technically still isn't wrapped up either. If he fails the medical, it's unlikely, but stranger things have happened. Thoughts on Cucurella to United, and could he play against us on Sunday? I would love Cucurella to play against us on Sunday. That would be wonderful. I don't understand it. From their perspective, I don't understand it. I don't. Thoughts on... Do you know what, actually, as well? United are looking for a left-back because Malacia and Luke Shaw are both injured. But the problem is, if you go out and do anything permanent, you've then got 3 left-backs. You've got Luke Shaw's understudy, and a third one. And you saw it when they had, Alex Telles. It just doesn't really work. And at that point, they didn't even have Malacia. I don't know why they don't... And, okay, it's slightly more difficult now that Varane is injured. But if I was them, I'd move Lisandro Martinez to left-back. Arsenal wanted to buy Lisandro Martinez as a left-back. When we didn't get Martinez, we pivoted to Zinchenko. I would move Martinez to left-back and have Varane and Lindelof as the centre-back pairing. So I don't... and that's just me, but so I don't really understand why they're not doing that. United linked to Højbjerg as well. Yeah, again, it's just not a level changer, is it? It's not a level changer. It's a depth signing, right? It's either that signing basically just means Spurs have a bit less midfield depth and United have a bit more midfield depth. Don't be giving Ten Hag advice. Well, look, if Lisandro Martinez starts at left back against Arsenal, you know why. You know Eric has been in the chat. Move Martinez to left back, get Maguire in the team. Smart. Hey, I said start Lindelof. To be fair, if they did do that, I'd be keen to start Havertz up top, potentially. And actually, without Varane, if Varane is out of the game and they do play with Lindelof and Martinez as centre-backs, wouldn't surprise me if we see Havertz play as the centre-forward. Because it's a big height advantage he's got over both of them. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you an ex or current Arsenal player's career path minus the Arsenal part of it, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. Fastest fingers first. Get on it. I've seen Ross is here. I haven't seen VV Vlad or Beast Destroyer, but this is quite a tricky one. This is quite a tricky one, so get your fingers on your keyboards. If you're watching on TikTok and you want to get involved, the Instagram icon in my bio will take you to my YouTube. Get over here, subscribe, join the party, and get involved. Rams is trying to preload it with Cedric and Henry, but it is not. Anyway, this is the player. So this player went on loan to Portsmouth. They went on loan to Juventus. They went to QPR, Nottingham Forest, Cardiff on loan, Rizespor, and back to Cardiff. Who is the player? It's not Swanson. It's not Sagan. It's not Martinez. It's not Sanya. I think you misspelled Sanya. That was what that was. It's not Ramsey. Not Chesney. Not Trossard. So Portsmouth on loan, Juventus on loan, QPR, Nottingham Forest, Cardiff on loan, Rizespor, and Cardiff again. I still haven't seen it. It's not Ramsey. It ain't Ramsey. I know, I get it because I said Cardiff, but it ain't Ramsey. It's not Henry Lansbury. It's not Jenkinson. It's not Lansbury. It's not Macy. It's not Mavadidi. It's not Bentner. I mean, the clue I'll give you is that they came through the Arsenal under-18s. So they were at Arsenal when they went on loan to Portsmouth. They were at Arsenal when they went on loan to Juventus. And we then sold them to QPR. And I still don't think anyone's got it. It's not No, it's not Kallstrom. It's not Lansbury. It's not Zelalem. It's not Hoyt. It's not Diarra. Tricky. Billericay, tricky. They are struggling. We've got them stumped. And there we go. And I would imagine it took a bit of Googling, but Godwin Ogbamon has got it correct. Armand Traore. It was Armand Traore. And Godwin Ogbamon got it first. Congratulations, Godwin. Devin came second. Ash came third. And that was pretty much it. That was all she wrote. Anubrata came fourth. But yeah, look, that was a difficult one. I'll be honest, guys. We are running low on players. We are running low on players, which is making this a lot more difficult. At some point in the near future-ish, Guess the Gooner is going to change. So that basically, instead of giving career paths, I do something else to identify the Gooners, and then we can start going back through all the players we've been through before. But that was a very difficult one, so congratulations to Godwin. It was a difficult one. Anyway, on to Guess the Non-Gooner. This is where I give you a player that does not and has not played for Arsenal. I give you their full career path, and you have to guess who it is. And the first person to get it gets a good level of respect in the chat. Not as much as Godwin gets for getting Guess the Gooner, but RIP, Guess the Gooner, the OG version. Look, the OGs will remember the original Guess the Gooner once we've moved on. But look, this Guess the Non-Gooner started their career at GD Ribeirão. GD Ribeirão. They went to Rio Ave, they went to Benfica, and they went to Manchester City. GD Ribeirão, Rio Ave, Benfica, and Manchester City. Who is the player? Not Adariz, not Adam Lafondre, not Ruben Dias, not Ruben Dias, but it is Ederson. And who got it first? Not Bernardo Silva. It was Ewan. It was Ewan Holroyd who got it first with Ederson. Congratulations to Ewan Holroyd. SS9 was second. Sway Gunner was third. Ross Lawman was 4th. And Francisco Oliveira was 5th. Congratulations. Congratulations to the winner. Did you know there was a period of time, and I saw this, I think I saw it on Twitter the other day. There was a period of time where Benfica, or maybe it was even Rio Ave, one of them had both Ederson and Jan Oblak at the same time. How crazy is that? They had both Ederson and Jan Oblak at the same time. And people moan about us having Ramsdale and Raya. So there you go. Ross has been off it late. Ooh, Ross, you're getting called out. You're getting called out, Ross, by Tom. Was a 50-50. It wasn't even a 50-50, to be fair. I mean, it kind of was a 50-50, but yeah. I guess the Portuguese options made more sense than Ederson to start with. I wasn't here earlier. What the hell is going on with SMITH-ROWE and MUDRYK? There was a rumour from AFC Camden, who's a Twitter account that isn't a legit journalist or anything, but has had some good information this summer. Excuse me. And he said Chelsea inquired about a swap deal last week for Emil Smith-Rowe and Mykhailo Mudryk, but the answer from Arsenal was no at the time. Ben Foster, horrific quotes on Ramsdale Raya. Yeah, do you know what? That, for me, I listened to it. I think for Ben Foster, it's based on the fact that he's a big fan of Ramsdale. He's very, I think he's friendly with Ramsdale. He's a big fan of Ramsdale. And I think his opinion on that situation is biased in the sense that it's, in his opinion, it's he doesn't like them having both. Someone said check AFC stuff. Chelsea might buy him. Yeah, we've gone through that. That was what we read from Sami Mokbel. Sources claiming that an offer way above market value may tempt Arsenal into selling Smith-Rowe. And look, it would have to be an offer way above market value. The issue is what is Emil Smith-Rowe's market value? Like, realistically, what would you pay for the Man United equivalent of Emil Smith-Rowe? And what I mean by that is, what would you pay for a United academy graduate that broke into the team a couple of years ago, has had his injury issues, isn't getting any minutes? And this is where it's difficult, right? Because you're saying 50 mil. You know, a couple of you, Tom, Chippy, have said 50 mil. If we went and bought the equivalent of Smith-Rowe, but it was Man United's Smith-Rowe, and we were offering 50 million, I think people would be going, that's mental. We're giving United 50 million quid for a player that they don't use, that's been injured for the last year pretty much. And so that's where it worries me that maybe his market value isn't actually that high. And so a bid well above market value might be 50 million. Which is difficult. But I just wouldn't want to let him go to Chelsea almost regardless, in my opinion. MUDRYK, 90 million, so ESR is valued at least that. Well, this is the other thing, right? I think figuring out a market value is almost impossible when you can just reference certain players that have gone for ridiculous amounts of money. You know, you can reference Anthony, you can reference MUDRYK, you can reference Caicedo, you can reference Enzo to an extent. And at that point, it's like, well, what the hell is the market? And you don't know until you actually sell a player. Isn't Ansu Fati Barca's ESR? Yeah, kind of. Yeah. That's a good example of a player that has all the talent in the world, right? And has shown so much promise, but can you really get 50 million for him? And again, I wouldn't want to pay 50 million for Ansu Fati. What's your starting lineup for the game on Sunday? Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Ødegaard, Saka, and Nketiah, Martinelli. And I genuinely, I would start Nketiah over Gabriel Jesus. I think that's maybe the only controversial one, where other people would start Jesus if he's fit. Honestly, I think Nketiah's been good enough. I think Nketiah's been good enough to start. Anyway, that is going to be the end of the stream. I massively appreciate all of you tuning in. We were at well over 200 viewers for quite a lot of it, which is just crazy for this channel. A massive shout out again to Olusolo Oduntan, who became the first member of the Rory Talks Football channel. And anyone that has subscribed, liked the stream, I appreciate it as always. I hope you have fantastic evenings. I'll be back at 5 o'clock tomorrow, live as always. And yeah, have a good one. Thank you and goodbye.